Welcome, everyone, to this episode of the Fired Up and Plugged In podcast powered by Emergency Reporting. This is the podcast for all 21st century fire and EMS personnel. I'm Tom Lewis, Enterprise Training Manager and the podcast producer. Today we have a very special guest, JaNaya McGirt. She's a newly minted firefighter with Clayton County, Georgia Fire and Emergency Services. She'll be joining our esteemed host, retired Fire Chief Randy Bruegman, for a truly inspiring conversation. 19-year-old JaNaya is a recent graduate from the Charles R. Drew High School. After initially being interested in a career in law, during her high school law program, she visited a Clayton County fire station and was hooked. She was a standout student in the Firefighter Emergency Medical Services Apprenticeship Academy, a joint program of the Clayton County Fire and Emergency Services and the Clayton County Board of Education. Upon graduation, she became a full-fledged firefighter with the Clayton County Fire and Emergency Services Department. She credits the outstanding program as well as the love and support from her family for laying this foundation for a very bright future. Welcome, Firefighter McGirt. Chief Bruegman, it's all yours, sir.
Well, good day, everyone, and welcome back to another session of Fired Up and Plugged In. This is the second podcast on the Clayton County Fire and Emergency Services Fire and EMS Pathway Program, and it's a great honor for me to introduce JaNaya McGirt, who was a recruit that came through that program and is now a Clayton County Fire and Emergency Services firefighter. So welcome, JaNaya.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to have you. Can you just tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, and then we'll get into how you entered this program?
Okay. Well, I'm from Georgia. I've been in Clayton County most of my life. I graduated in Clayton County. My family, we still live in Clayton County.
And your family has been here quite a while?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And so when you were entering the ninth grade, because the way this program works is when you're in the ninth grade, you can choose to sign up for the pathway, and then you're exposed to, fire, police, dispatch, all of the public safety services that we have. And then after that year, you get to choose a path that you would wish to go on if you do. Is that
Yes,
correct?
sir. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
So tell me about that first year. How was that first year as you were exploring the different options?
Well, the first year I decided I was able to pick Intro to Law and Justice, and they, like Chief Murkison said, we learned about the law, learned about, public safety and what public safety people go through.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, I've decided to keep that pathway and just finish it out.
So what happens after that first year? You go into the second year and you choose the pathway. So you chose to go on the fire and EMS side.
Yeah, it wasn't named fire science. It was intro to not intro. It was law and safety, but it was the same. It went into fire, so that's the one I decided to stick with.
So that second year is kind of where you're really delving into the aspects of the different organizations, what they do, and then from there, when you go to your junior years, when you would actually make a choice of the path that you want to take.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So were you interested when you entered ninth grade, 10th grade? Where did you see yourself now? I mean,
well, initially I wanted to do law, but when my junior year, I was able to choose this program, and so I was like, law, it's okay, because I decided to choose fire, and I'm glad I chose it.
Well, we're glad you chose it too. So, but I mean, during that time frame, had you had, before your exposure to the public safety piece, were you thinking about what was your career track? Were you thinking of a career track before then?
I wanted to be a defense lawyer, so fire and EMS, it wasn't on the agenda at all, but it did change once I joined the pathway.
Yeah. So what clicked for you when you joined and kind of went through that first couple of years? Why did all of a sudden, what was it for you that said, I want to pursue this?
Well, once we started coming up to the station and we were introduced to the fire personnel that was on the line, I was like, this is something I would, see myself doing, and I enjoyed doing, because everybody, they were very welcoming. They, everybody, they're very helpful. They don't mind teaching us, whatever we need to know. And so I was like, this is something that I do enjoy doing and wouldn't mind doing it.
Yeah. So what was, after you got into the program, you were in it for a while, what was the perspective of the other students in your school who weren't part of the program, especially when you're in uniform, those two times a week? And I mean, how was that for you?
It was a lot of, like, my peers, they were asking how were they able to join, or they were telling us, I wish I joined. And like my older sister, we graduated from the same school. She was like, she wanted to join, but she was a year older and the program wasn't set up yet. So like a lot of them, they wanted to join the program as well.
So I think you in a sense then became a role model in the school.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so interesting. So what as you went through this process, what is maybe for fire chiefs that are listening to the program today and chief officers, what was the most difficult element for you?
Personally, for me, the most difficult element was going through recruit, the training, physical training. Because before that, I wasn't used to putting in that much work and that much physical labor, but they, the fire personnel, they really did help out and made sure we pushed each other and made sure we, we're in the right mindset to keep going and keep pushing ourselves through it.
So how did that, how did that change you from where you were then? I mean, what's your perspective now on the whole fitness level? I mean, did that change your regimen of where you're at today?
It did. Now, you have to keep up, and like you just have to work on yourself. And with that, it helped me, like, tell myself, you gotten through the hard part, so you can keep on doing it. You just have to keep pushing. So, and they showed me that I can do it. Like, it may seem hard in the beginning, but I can get to the end.
Yeah. What were some of the most difficult challenges for you outside of the physical part? Because it sounds like that was a little bit tough, but you got over that. But what were some of the other challenges that you faced up to, or you were faced with over the course of the pathway program that you had to overcome?
Some other challenges that I faced, well, we had to, like Chief Merck said, we did have to take the National Registry, our hazmat test, Fire 1. So just, believing in myself, making sure that I could pass and get to where I needed to be. That was very challenging, because I didn't really think, because it was very challenging, and I really didn't think that I could do it and get through it, but I did.
Yeah. Did you find that once you set a path, or you set your goal to, I want to go through this program and ultimately maybe want to get hired as a firefighter, did that change your not your perspective, but maybe your level of commitment for your schoolwork prior to what you were doing before?
It did, because I know that going through this, I had to push myself harder. Like the regular courses that I was going in through high school, I didn't really, it's very simple, basic, but this stuff, you actually do have to put in the work to make sure you do pass and make sure you're actually retaining the information. So I just knew I had to push myself harder than I was just with my regular high school courses.
Did you find that once you became more I guess your passion increased for the job, and for maybe the coursework became a little bit easier.
It did. Like as long as, I told myself, as long as you believe that you can do it and you know the end goal that you want. So it's like, okay, go ahead and get it done and do what you need to do. It just makes it easier than what it was before.
Yeah. So what's your family think?
My family, they're very proud of me. Like my sister, she wants to join on. So, and my parents, they're super happy for me.
Well, they should be. They should be. I know they're super happy for you, but I know they're also extremely proud of you. I mean, this is just a significant accomplishment. To become a firefighter at 18 is pretty exceptional.
Yes, sir.
So you probably look like you're getting used to that chair that you're sitting in. So, I'm a big believer in that we should hire from our communities, and I think that you reflect that. And so, why do you think that's important?
Well, I think that's important because you're in the community. You see what goes on in your community and you want to better your own community because it's your community. So if you have people from your community, then the people in your community want to better it. So what better thing to do than hire people from your community?
Yeah, no, I have well stated. And I think that have you found yourself when you go back to the parents' house and you're hanging around the neighborhood, do you find that you're now a role model for other young people in the neighborhood?
I do. For example, my little brother, he wants to be a firefighter as well. So he loves to sit here and talk to the people that I'm stationed with. Like, I know he looks up to me a lot.
Well, that's good. That's good. I think there's a definite, ripple effect, I think, from this program and from individuals like yourself, not only throughout the community, but I mean, your little brother's already aspiring to, to follow in your footsteps, and there's no greater compliment than that. So, I think you have a lot to be proud of. So, where do you see yourself over the course? Maybe let's next 5 years. What do you want to see yourself become in the next 5 years?
In the next 5 years, I do want to be able to be in the community more, with the helping spread the pathway program because, I was a part of it. So I can see what good it has done and what good it can do. So I do want to, take a bigger role in the pathway program.
I think that'd be an excellent slot for you to fill. I think I could see you coming back into the system as one of the instructors. But yeah, I think that the impact that you could have on the young folks that are coming through the system today and in the future would be very, 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 very significant. I think people that have walked the walk have a little bit better ability to talk the talk. And I think you could share a wealth of information for them. So what's your long-term plan? What's your long-term goal? Do you want to be in the chief's chair, or have you gotten that far yet?
I know for sure I do want to come into training. So that's as far as I've gotten, but I do want to come into training. So
that's good. Now, educationally, what have you set some goals for yourself of what you want to do in that arena?
I do plan on going to school next spring. So
it's always good to have 1 or 2 degrees under your belt as you move up through the organization. Never hurts, and many certifications. So
yes,
yeah. So if you could share the experience, not to the fire service, but say to a principal of a high school or a board member for the school district, what would you tell them, or what would you say about the importance of this program for yourself and for the community?
Well, for myself, it did through the program, the course of the program, it did, make me take everything around me a little bit more serious. It did help me mature because, in high school, oh, I'm young, I can do what I want. But, you have to take stuff more serious and you're in an adult environment. So you have to be mature and act like you're an adult. So that really did help out. And it helps me, come up with a plan with what I want to do, make sure I stay on track. So it just really does help out.
Okay. And what about from just the whole district perspective of why they may want to embrace a program like this? From a student perspective, but there's an impact, I think, on the community, and on the relationships that are created there. What's your thought on that?
Well, it does, because you're taking this program, it takes the stress away from, oh, what am I going to do once I get out of high school? And, if once you get into this field, you make connections with different people, in different fields. So it does help you out with different types of connections, like with what you want to do in life. Even if you choose to not, stick in this field, then you make connections, so you still know what you can do. So that It does help out.
Have you found yourself being asked the question from other professions, how can we do this?
It's really it's just in the fire service, they're asking about, how was it cultivated?
Yeah. Okay. And your relationship as you came in, and Chief talked about it a little bit, but just the relationship as you came in as a high schooler, and then all of a sudden you're into this paramilitary organization, and you're with people that have high expectations, firefighters. Just talk a little bit about that transition and the receptivity that you received from the firefighters there.
Well, when I first came online, they were like, oh yeah, you came from the pathway program, since I was so young. So they already knew, like, off the jump. So I'm like, yeah, I did come from the pathway program. And they're like, wow, I wish I could have, went through a program like that when I was in high school. And they're very open to helping me out with, whatever I need to know and what I need to learn. So it hasn't been any negative anything from anybody. They're very helpful, and they're like I said, yeah, I wish I could have went through something like this when I was going through high school.
Yeah, no, it's a great program. I think it's a great testament to the chief and the organization for pursuing it and having the perseverance to, over 7 years, actually make it a reality. And to see you sitting here today and having this opportunity, as well as, I think there were 12 others that came on with you, and there'll be more that will follow, it's just a great representation of not only the chief's leadership, but I think also of the talent that we're able to bring in to the Fire and Emergency Services, and you're reflective of that. So anything that you would like to wrap up with today? Anything that we didn't talk about that you'd like to share with the audience?
I just want to say, like Chief said, if you have the thought of wanting to do this, you should go ahead and get it on the road. It's nothing to just reach out and go ahead and get the ball rolling, because this is a very good opportunity for your department itself and the people of your community.
Yeah, well, thank you. I totally agree. I think that as we started the first podcast, one of the most significant issues that we face in the Fire and Emergency Services as we move into the 21st century is to being an inclusive workforce. And the best way to be an inclusive workforce is the program that has been developed in Clayton County, this pathway program, because it does two things. One is it brings in people from the organization, and it creates an inclusiveness process with the entire community. And I don't know if there's a better system out there that can address that issue. And so Again, I want to thank you for being with us today and taking time out of your busy day, and wish you the best of luck in the future. And if there's anything that I can do to assist you as you move up through the ranks, I'd be more than happy to do so.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.